Ah. Alright. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it. Do it. Alright, so I'm going to put a cough drop in my mouth. That may be sufficient. That may be sufficient. Worst case, I'll talk a little bit at the beginning and then I'll be completely quiet while I work. So hey, I'm Eric. I'm making a game. It's called The God Killer. It's not called God Killer because there's like a different thing which is called simply God Killer, and my separate production creative thing is called The God Killer. It is a 3D top-down puzzle solving adventure game. You figure out your place in a world. You figure out where you are in relation to other objects that will help you move through that world. You solve logical problems. You climb up steps. You fight people in a way that is exciting, yet gives you as much time as you want to pick what you're going to do. You can punch a character or an enemy that's coming towards you. You can punch that enemy. That enemy will fly all the way across the room instantly. And if there's other enemies that are there in the first one's path, they all fly together across the room. So it's got interesting mechanics to it. So what I'm up to right now, I'm going to give a quick demo of like latest stuff. Hand animations. So you're not even going to see like the proper game in this stream because I've gone over to a utility which I'm using to edit these hand animations. This is like the second round of it. This is basically the phoenix rising from the ashes of my first failed idea. My first failed idea was to use the Leap Motion hardware to record performance animations. I won't rehash that right now. It just doesn't work that well. I wrote the code to do it. I wrote the code to capture your physical hand movements and save them into a file, play them back, all that, and just doesn't work well. Moved on to the next idea, which so far is working great. So I created controls for the hand model. They're very simplistic. There's only 15 possible things you can tweak. You can tweak the distance between the hands. You can move them like that. You can put them right on top of each other, which could make for some interesting effects. Okay, these hands, by the way, they correspond to a single character in the game, which is just a floating pair of hands. The character's name is God. The main character finds herself in conflict with this creature. And then individual fingers, they can be moved through a predefined range of motion. So I move all the way to the left, that's as far clenched that finger can go. I move all the way to the right, this little slider thing off over here. That's as far as extended it can go. And there are a couple of keyframes for each. There's 3 keyframes for each finger or thumb, a digit, and they're used to make the fingers appear natural as they move through their range of motion. So there's moving them further or closer together. There's rotation. Twisting, lifting, in and out. On either of the hands I can do that. And all the digits can move in or out. So in addition to that, I'm able to define keyframes for each one of these collection of settings of the hand. So I know I just used the term keyframe a moment ago to talk about individual digits here. Those are there are keyframes for that, but I can also have an overall master keyframe that holds all the animation settings for both the hands, all 15 of these little knobs here that I can twiddle here. I can save them into a single keyframe. Okay. Let me make one that looks like a little bit more natural. Okay, so I'll make a new gesture, and I'll call this, I'll call it Jazz Fingers. Okay, and I'll start out Jazz Fingers with the hands like that. Okay, so that's the very first frame of the animation. Okay, I'll add a little bit of change to their fingers to make them twinkle a little bit like you do with jazz fingers. You know what jazz fingers are, right? Jazz fingers, jazz fingers. Okay, that's one hand. Here's the other. Okay, so I'll call this my my second frame. Okay, so I created my first keyframe, which I'll show that. It looks like that. My second keyframe looks like that. Okay, I can add another keyframe, and I'll make the fingers be in the opposite direction. Okay, and down here we go like that, and we go like that, and I like that, and I like that, and hey, we got our second keyframe. I gotta save it though, so I do that by clicking this button here. That will save the keyframe. So then, first frame, second frame, third frame. Now I could go to the second frame here and just add another keyframe on the end and call it out, and then basically it copied that keyframe to the end. So now I've got first frame, or that was second frame, third frame, fourth frame. So I've added little time values in this text box that's for each of the frames. So I have this animation that would play over a half second. And the thing that I'm missing is an ability to see like smooth transition between all those keyframes, which is a process that can be accomplished with tweening. Tweening would be calculating all the intermediate values between two keyframes that would produce the blended motion in between one state that's in a starting frame and another frame, the ending frame. Now typically you could accomplish this in animation software by doing something called scrubbing, which is taking a bar or a button that indicates where the current position is in the animation as far as time is concerned, and then you move that bar to the left or to the right to influence what time position inside of the animation you want to see. So that is the thing that I'm planning to implement in this session. I want to add a little draggable bar down here that lets me scroll it all the way to the left to be at the start of the animation, or all the way to the right to be at the end of the animation. And once I have that, I can see the jazz fingers twinkle. I can see those jazz fingers. You know what jazz fingers are, right? Jazz fingers are like this. That's jazz fingers. Bring a little bit of magic into your world with jazz fingers. So I can do that. That's not an actual gesture that I want to use in the game. At least I don't think I do. But it's a real simple and easy one to start with to just test this out. I want to get this kind of scrubbing thing up and going. And then once I feel like pretty confident about my ability to author gestures inside of this new system I'm building here, which I've thrown together really quickly. I mean, this whole thing, maybe like 6 hours start to finish so far. Once I feel confident about authoring gestures, then I'll make my base library of gestures. I'll say before that, I may do something else. I may do a proof of concept and create one gesture that is like not like a reusable part. They'll tie into a more complicated algorithm, but it's just a test to show over some sample dialogue how a series of hand movements will look. So that's what I'll probably do. But I want to get my authoring so I can see what the animations will look like. So, if you know anything about me and how I think and work, I must get done some kind of progress in this session. And I just said the bar that I want to hit. You will see me striving for it like a Mr. Meeseeks, if you're familiar with Rick and Morty. I get upset if I don't make some progress in every damn session. Real upset. So, I don't know why I'm acting like that's really impressive or something. It's really more of a defect of my character. If you want to see, without watching me work for a couple hours, if you just want to see real quick if I actually succeeded in the thing I set out to do, you could watch tomorrow's episode where I'll demo it, or you could slide the little bar at the end and you'll see my face at the end, and it'll be either extremely irritated, I'll be doing like a lot of this type of stuff, or I'll be happy, I'll be triumphant, going for triumph here, going for victory. Okay, so first thing I need to do is just make that little bar, that little scrubber bar. That's an easy thing to do. It's incredibly easy. I love how easy it is. So preview position. Okay. Put that at 0. So I'm using a custom editor to edit all this data down here, which gives me more flexibility for making buttons and text and everything. But I don't know offhand how to make this little slider bar in the custom editor way, so I'm gonna have to do a little research on that. It's probably incredibly simple. Unity custom editor slider. Yeah, that's just looking ridiculously simple. Okay. Okay, it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be easy. I'm not worried. You think I should be worried, but I'm not worried. Preview position, that's why I called it. Okay. Fine property. Fine. Let's see. Serialized object. Fine property. Preview position. Okay. So let me say. Okay. Or I could just use the value it's set to. I don't know. Just make sure it's showing the it's showing the new UI here. Okay, so here's my slider. I can drag it. I can drag it. I can drag it. So it occurs to me that a nice thing to do, instead of having this range be from 0 to 1, is have this be a time in seconds. In order to do that, I need to have a way of passing back the duration of the animation as it's so far been defined. So I can say the last frame in it. The last frame will be the duration. Okay. I'm going to clamp the position to make sure it's never past the duration, at least for display purposes. Okay, so I think this is all pretty easy stuff. Let me see how I'm doing. It's really friggin' nice. Not having a large compile build time. So let's see, how's this doing? Oh, sweet. Yep. So this, now it takes me to a specific position, and I can go to a specific position too. So if I want to go right to one keyframe above, I can type it in, and it takes me right there. Okay. So the next part is figuring out, for any position, what two keyframes, possibly just one, if there's only one keyframe applied, will be used for tweening. So one thing I can say is that I can say that if there's depending on the event count, it'll be simpler. So let's handle the trivial cases first. So there's no tweening if there's only one event or one keyframe. I'm using those interchangeably. Okay. Then we say, let's see, what is it? Okay. So now I want to find, so if I get all the way down here, then I've got at least two events. Okay. So I want to figure out where I am relative to the events, or my position. Okay, so find last event preceding the position. First event greater than position. only one event found, then just use that. Tween, just use that. Otherwise, tween between two events. This assumes that all the events are sorted by time. I don't have anything enforcing that. I might have to write some sort code in the editor later. Or I could just be careful. This is not like a utility that's written for massive reuse, and only I'm going to use it. I'm only going to use it to make maybe 20 gestures, so I'm not going to overdo it. Okay. Let's call this. I thought it was a better way to do it. Okay. So it's possible to go through this and not find any events that were previous to it. If that's the case, okay. Leaving I at its last position. So I can keep looking through from wherever the previous place was. Okay. So what would that mean? means that the position is past the last event, which shouldn't be possible. Because up here, you know, it might be possible. It might be possible. Let me just put something in that handles it. Okay. So I need to get the percentage distance. So I'm between two keyframes, and based on the time, I need to figure out what amount I should tween between the two. Like if my time is exactly halfway in between the two keyframes, then I would tween at 50%. Okay, so let's see, we'll say it's going to be the time elapsed from the first event divided by the time between the two events. And there's a possibility that I edited the two events to be right next to each other. Let me just do a thing like just a little safety thing to avoid division by 0. This is always so extra irritating with floating point. Oh, I better get these cough drops going. I'm not properly sick, it's just a irritated throat. Cough. Okay. So hands between events. Proof. Event. Next event, tween percent. So I could do this a couple of ways. I could create an event, which is right in between these two, and tween it, and then set there this existing function. But you know, I think that's bad. The reason I think it's bad is because I'm going to be allocating memory and freeing memory, and it creates garbage collection nonsense. So the other way to do it is basically just don't store it in an intermediate variable. Just set it directly. So I think this is just a big lerp, bunch of lerps. Float, lerp. Oh, it's mathf, that's what it was. So it'll be private event. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm just going to be following the same pattern. So let me make a little template here. Is that? No, it's difficult to replace. That's better. So here I'm just setting each of these to a value that is between two other values by a specific percent. If the value of tween percent is 0, then whatever I'm assigning will be the same as whatever is in the prev event, which is the earlier of the two keyframes. If tween percent is at 1, or really 100%, then the set value would come from the next event completely. If it was at 50%, the value would be right in between the two, 25, etc. So I feel like this is going to work. And if it does, and it does soon, at only 6:30, like if I get this done with like practically 30 minutes, I will celebrate by giving myself another stretch goal that involves Hubert Humphrey. You'll see what I mean. Just eyeballing this because it's going to suck if I just get something wrong and then I'll have to spend time troubleshooting it. Some basic data entry right here. Looks like I did it pretty well. I'm almost glad that I just missed the 30-minute mark now. Actually, I started 10 before, so if I was coming up on like 27 minutes or something like that, I would have been like freaking out to like see if I could get done before a half hour. Kind of glad I went by. It'll still be really fast if I get it done in the next 5 minutes. Fast by my standards. There's always somebody faster. Okay. God, there's so much code in there I just added though. Do I even want to try it without... I don't know, it didn't work. Let's see. What happened? What happened? Oh. Yeah, I forget. Like, this thing gets into weird states when you rebuild in the editor. So you kind of have to make it so that it's always ready to initialize all over again. There might be a better way to handle this, but... still feel like I'm cheating myself if I don't. If I don't step through this. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, you're playing. That's what you're doing. Okay. Okay. Run. Stop. Okay, you done? Where do I expect it to? I expect it to be right at the first two keyframes. That should be 0.3. Yep. Position should be 0 or close. Yep. First event will not be greater. Might be equal though. Huh. So let me take a look. What was that? 0. Position is 0. Is it? Oh, it did set pro event. Good. Good. The next one will not be. Is that true? The next event will not be after it. What's... really? What's I? 1? What time do you have? 0.1. Oh, okay. My code here is not right. 'cause it's going to keep on going through the whole array. Okay, that's wrong. That's wrong. So what do I want? I want if. Okay, let's start this off by setting it to. No, leave it at null. Leave it at null. Okay. So if the time is less than or equal to the position, then I'll update private event. Otherwise, if it's past it, then I break. Stop looking. Because there might be 0, 1, 2, or more events that occur before the position. I want the last one. Now over here, to do something similar, as soon as there's an event that's greater than the position, I set it, but I don't keep looking. I just break. Try this shit again. First one should set private event. Thank you. Very nice. Next one should skip past it. What? What? Point 1, position at 0. This should be false. Okay, it is. I think there's like a little glitch with the debugger. Yeah, it's playing through the old code basically. Okay. Stop. Stop. Okay, that's better. Good. Okay, now I find the first event that comes after it. Point 1. Okay. Okay, I got 2 events now. So I expect tween present to equal 0. Position minus time I expect to be 0. Duration I expect to be 0.1. So it's basically it's going to be 0 divided by 0.1 equals 0. Tween percent is 0. So I go inside of here. I'm going to pass the probe event. Next event. Tween percent 0. Okay. .57 versus yeah, okay, good. Gotta find the first one that is actually different. So let's look at the thumb. 348 439. Okay. I expect it to be 348. Yep. Okay, this is going to work. I'm going to take it off the breakpoint. I'm just going to actually try it out. There's my scrubber. There's my scrubber. That is jazz fingers. Jazz fingers. Okay, so I can maybe make my animation a little more interesting. I will add a little bit of lift here. now I'm seeing an issue. So it's updating the scrubbing position, even if I'm in the middle of making some other edits. I only want it to update these hands based on the scrub position if the slider changes. So I need to write some code that actually checks for a changing slider instead of always applying. But still, you gotta take a small moment to be happy about that. That like worked pretty close the first time. Took under an hour to do it. More like 45 minutes. Got some basic scrubbing going with some tweening. That same tweening code can be used in the game. So you think about what happens in the game is there'll be some kind of delta or some kind of time elapsed since the start of the animation, and I will do code just like what I did there to find the correct 2 keyframes or maybe less that apply to depicting that position elapse after a certain amount of time. Oh hey, oh, it's a bot, it's a bot. It's a bot. You suck, you stupid bot. It's a bot. You fooled me for a moment by repeating back my own words to me. I want you to know that I will never, ever use your services. And if there's some way that I could harm your endeavor without it being too much effort on my part, I would do it. Because you suck. Alright. But I don't want to expend any more energy on you because you expended like 0 energy on me. There's a real asymmetry to attention spent on people by bots versus people spending attention on bots. Okay. Like without doing a floating point comparison, how to tell when a slider's changed. Custom editor value change. I think there's something like a group you put them in. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. My memory's not bad. So we say that should do it. That should do it. More cough drops so I can spare you. All right. So if I take this guy here, my second frame, add a little something to it. Oh, I went the wrong direction. Okay. So, I'm glad I'm not using this for complicated animations. It would be a very crude tool for that. Most of these animations should end up having like 2 or 3 frames. Save that. Then when I do my scrub, there we go. I got a little up and down movement on the hands. Oh, cool thing is I can see like the tween values too, moving around up above. So that is working quite well. So I'm gonna try to do, just as a test of how well this tool works, I'm gonna try to actually take a hand motion I see from a video. This guy here, Hugh Humphrey, and just try to duplicate it. I'll play a little bit. You can see some of his hand motions.
Major substantive issues will be essentially the urban community, urbanization. And I'm the one man in this whole business that's been with the large city.
Okay, so he does a thing where he sticks his hand up in front of him, waves it around a little bit. Let me see if I can do that. Yeah, okay, so he goes.
On major substantive issues will be essentially the urban community, urbanization. And I'm the one man in this whole business that's been with the large city. What's more is I have...
Actually, that one there is kind of interesting too. He brings his other hand up and kind of like picks at his other, at his first hand. Okay, I'm gonna try to do that one. All right, let me start with basic, which is kind of good for getting back to normal. So my default position here. And I picked this specifically, well, for 2 reasons really. One is it's public domain, so I can show it real easily on the stream. But also, like, I looked around a little bit, and yeah, this guy, he's got some good hand motions. He's not bad at all. Oh no, not full. Don't go full screen. I don't need the full screen. I was just trying to kind of get some of this other junk out. Never mind. I think I just kind of flip between the two every once in a while. Okay. So let me move my camera angle so it's kind of close. And first thing is his left hand, right from our point of view, is straight up. It's like that. Let me give us a new name. Humphrey thumb tweak. Okay. And let's see. So I think he's got his hand twisted towards us a little bit. The thumb is extended. These digits are up a little bit. Okay. And his other hand, and this is kind of this is like a hand gesture that I don't think I myself would do. It's interesting because we're all different. We've got our own different habits, you know. So this looks like a little nervous to me, but it also looks intelligent. It's very expressive. It looks like there's some anxiety behind it. But it's not like a bad anxiety. Like when I watched JFK, his inauguration speech, all he's got is this kind of strong man shaking his left hand in a small position. To me, that looks like a calculated move. I don't like it as much. I'm not saying anything about JFK as a person or Hubert Humphrey as a person. I probably appreciate JFK's politics better. But presentation-wise, I much rather like looking at Hubert Humphrey. This to me is kind of an interesting gesture. Okay, so he's got... So I'm starting to match this pretty well. So he's got his other hand's twisted towards us a little bit. Let me twist it. Okay. And then these digits are in more. So that's pretty close. That has got to be really, really close. So make this the starting position. So take a look. It's kind of difficult for me to show both at the same time. But I think you get the idea. So look at his hands there. And then there you can see both at the same time. Okay, so it's not dead on. Like, I took away some degrees of freedom. Like, I only gave these hands one pivot point to rotate around. So I can't, without adding more degrees of freedom to the animation and making it more complicated and more so than it needs to be, I think. I can't make the hand be up at the same angle and also have these fingertips touch the thumb. Alright, let's see what Humphrey does next with his hands.
I've worked for 4 years now with
He does like a funny little, like, stroking his own thumb thing. It's weird. It's kind of weird. He's stroking his own thumb. I'll see if I can do it. Okay. So I think to accomplish that, you need to twist this a little more that way. Have it come down just a... No, I can't do that very well. Okay. Let's see, the other hand. I think the index and middle will contract a little bit. And get them a little bit closer. Now I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to be moving through the hand. I'm pretty close to moving through the hand. So I could back up just a little bit and then do that. There. Okay. So I'll add that keyframe. Put that one at 0.1. Okay. Now I'm going to do the weird little stroking down thing. I mean, it looks weird when I examine it closely. It's probably, if it was just happening right in front of me without me looking at it, I wouldn't think anything of it. But it seems extra strange now. I'm looking at it so close. So let me see. Okay, so add that one. I'll do that for 0.2 of a second. Okay. I'm going to go up to the first one again. And I'm going to copy it to the end. So I can have that repeated stroking motion that he did. Okay. I think I'll add just another keyframe. And this last one, just to make it a little more interesting, I'll have his hand twist a little bit. Okay. So that's the gesture. That's pretty close. Let me see if he does anything else after this.
Every mayor of every major city in the United States.
Okay, so he kind of clenches up his right hand and presses it against his left palm, and he's got the fingers of his palm enclosing his fisted hand. I think I can do that too. Although at this point they are interlaced a little bit, like he's got them, I think, going through like the gap between his thumb. This one looks a little bit trickier to pull off. I'll see what I can do. So let's move the distance in like that. Let us tighten these other two fingers so it's a little more fist-like. Bring these in a bit. Okay, so it's like these two fingers come down. It's a little tricky for me to to match that angle with the limitations I've added here. I think I can get the gist of the gesture though. So what does that look like? It's not bad. It's not bad. See if I can get a little bit closer. That should come down. I think, yeah, I am going through here. Let me see if I can bring that one down a little bit. No, not that one. So yeah, I can just move that like that, and I can even reduce my distance now. No, I can't. I'm going through. I mean, I can cheat a little bit and go through. I mean, I can have like my models, the meshes overlap each other, but I'm trying not to, because there are some angles where it won't look good. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, there. I've got some overlap. I think I can fix that pretty easy though. Let's take the thumb. Oops. Does Command Z work? Oh yeah, good. Thumb. There we go. There we go. So now I've got almost a whole second of animation here. And then... oh, I forgot to add that last keyframe. Ah, I did all that work and I didn't save it. Okay. If I just would have clicked the add keyframe button, that would have been good. So that is a little mean thing about my editor. It'll lose my work pretty easily. But these are going to be simple animations. I'm not going to worry that hard about it. Okay, so let me just recreate that thing I did. Shouldn't take me too long. Dun, dun. Actually, those fingers over here, they went over the top a little bit. And bring the distance in. A little bit tighter. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Alright, add that keyframe. Set that to 1. And let's try this out again. Stroke to the thumb. This is easy. This is gonna work. This is a good point to stop. So I gotta wash some clothes. I gotta make some dinner. So got my victory. Got my Hubert Humphrey hand.
Into dozens of meetings with them and have visited their cities.
Dozens of meetings with them. Visited their cities. Okay, let me just. Nah, I'll mess with it forever. And that's not even like a real gesture that I need. But it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun to take something in real life and get it to match up with 3D models. So here, let me.
What's more is I have worked for 4 years now with every mayor of every major city in the United States and been to dozens of meetings with them.
Okay. So what's more is I worked with every mayor in every city and been to dozens of stroking my thumb meetings with them. Hubert Humphrey, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'm gonna call that a stream. I'm gonna shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Bye.